Welcome to the latest edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime with me, Marchand Kenny. Well, you know, in football, quarterbacks and running backs get a lot of the publicity and the spotlight sometimes just because they make a lot of yards and make a lot of completions, what have you. But somebody's got to give them time to do that, and that's the guys in the trenches. So I thought it a perfect time for this show to give the O-line some love, and I'm going to do it with 10-year NFL vet and Southern Miss Hall of Famer Jeremy Bridges. As you know, fan interaction and fan comments are a huge portion of this show, and I'm going to get to some of that in this next segment that we call Four and Out. Well, this week on Twitter and Facebook, I asked the Southern Miss Nation, what were your favorite Southern Miss football uniforms of all time? I had a lot of good pictures, a lot of good comments come in, but I can only get to four of them because that's the name of the segment, Four and Out. First up from Twitter, Roger Dickens, whose Twitter handle is D-Town Doe. He says those 1970s style unis. And the rationale Roger says for that is because it was the 70s, baby. And I think Roger's a big fan of disco music. Just taking a guess right there, loving the 70s so much. Next up, David Hallman from Facebook, whose son Mark was an excellent punter for Southern Miss back in the early 2000s. He sent this pic of his son Mark in action in 2002 with that black helmet, white jersey, and the black pants. I love that look for road games. Thanks for sending that pic and all those comments into the show right there. Next up, Blake from Twitter at Southern Eagle. He says around 88 through early 90s, the Vegas gold pants and stripe on helmet, black helmet and jersey. Simple. It just said, you can look pretty. We're here to win football games. And yeah, that definitely made a statement, solid and bold with that kind of look. And finally from Facebook, John Smith came in and said, those all black unis are the ones I remember from initially starting to follow Southern Miss. And yeah, all black look is my personal favorite. He adds, whatever the uniform though, the helmet always has to say Southern Miss. The style of Eagle comes and goes, but we're always Southern Miss. And I wanted to enter a picture of us in all black from a game last season where we hosted the Raging Cajuns on Thursday night, primetime ESPN. We were in all black and smashed the Cajuns and sent them back to Lafayette, which is actually where I live. So thanks for all the comments, everyone, and please keep sending them in. Well, today's interview is going to be absolutely awesome. It comes with 10-year NFL vet and Southern Miss Hall of Famer, the one and only Jeremy Bridges. Well, one of my favorite things about offensive linemen, especially the great ones, is that they love moving a man from point A to point B against their will. And one of the best guys to ever do it at Southern Miss is my interview today, the one and only Jeremy Bridges. And JB, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate being on this show, man. I just want to tip my hat to you, sir. You know, you're one of the reasons why I'm in the Hall of Fame of Southern Miss right now. You put up that front. And of course the people have spoken, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man. I can say I'm in the Hall of Fame in a couple areas at this point, and it's pretty dope, man. But this show's bumping. I love it. You know what I'm saying? When I first saw you started doing it months ago, I was like, this is gonna be big. And it was the first thing I did. And you can ask Marchand, ladies and gentlemen, I was like, I gotta be on the show, point blank period, right?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, he's coming.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm in the Hall of Fame and I get a vote every year, and I'm like, man, O-line never gets enough love. Why isn't Jeremy Bridges in the Hall of Fame? It didn't make sense to me. I'm like, put the man in, and everybody's like, yeah, makes sense.
I've been asking myself that for years now.
Well, now you're a black and gold Hall of Famer, and it just makes too much sense for you to be one. I mean, when you played at Southern Miss, All Conference USA, man, one of the best linemen in America, Hall of Fame, got 10-year NFL career. But looking back at all the accolades that you got, man, how does that make you feel?
Man, listen, it's a blessing, and it makes you feel great about, you know what I'm saying, the work that you put in, because that's all accolades are, a testament to the work. All right. So when I look back and I think about all conferences and you know what I'm saying, the low level All-American votes and all this other stuff that I got, and being recognized the top whatever in the nation as offensive tackle, I'm just like, I always joke with people, I'm like, man, I never dreamed of going to the NFL. That was never my dream. I just wanted to be the best football player at whatever level I was at. I remember in high school, you know what I'm saying, like I could draw pretty well, and I literally put an American flag on my backpack in whiteout, right? and I put All-American on it, right? And then I used to get ridiculed for that, right? Because like this is like my sophomore year, and so I wasn't starting, you know what I'm saying? Like I was starting, but I was coming into my own as a player, and I mean, by the end of my senior year, it was pretty much a done deal, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just the work. And then I always tell people and the kids that I coach and I train and mentor, like, ain't nobody gonna replace work, right? That's what's gonna shine, right? You know what I'm saying? When you put the work in, when anybody watching, anybody looking, that's what's gonna shine. That's what's gonna prevail on the field, the court, whatever.
Heck yeah, man. That's a great way to put it. And real quick, before we kind of get into all your story, and you got a great story to tell with your football career, man, being an offensive lineman, y'all are some different cats, man. Y'all are down in the trenches, like I said, moving men from point A to point B against their will. Man, what's it take to just be a great offensive lineman?
Well, I mean, when you're young, you're nasty, right?
Yeah.
You got to be nasty, but at the same time, you got to have a sense to be technical, right? And I credit Petey Perot and Chris Lanakis, you know what I'm saying? Because these guys are coaches that I had at Southern Miss, and then Coach Lanakis, I can really just kind of tip my hat to him because he's the one that made me play different positions, right? I knew I could play tackle. I had played guard before, but he put me under center a couple times. He put me on center a couple times. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, and he literally put me to the side one day. He was like, listen, man, he said, you got everything it takes to go to the NFL. He was like, well, what's going to keep you in the NFL is versatility, right? He kept it 100 with me all day, every day. He was like, you know what I'm saying? You're kind of, as far as the league goes right now, you're kind of undersized. He said, you're more of a hybrid, you know what I'm saying? You're not really a guard, not really tackle size. You know what I'm saying? You're too big to be a center, to be honest. But he was like, you just need to know how to do everything, right? And once he started doing that, it heightened my knowledge of the game because I had to know everything at that point, right? So he's pretty much the one that told me and made me understand I need to know everything that's going on that line. I need to know what's going on right outside of me. I need to know what's going on behind me, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I started watching film different because of him, and the game just started to come to me a little easier. But you got to be technical. You got to know footwork. You got to know to put your head at. You got to have that tenacious attitude. You got to have the work ethic, but you got that nasty. You know what I'm saying? Is what gets people's attention.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it too, man. Because anybody thinks about offensive line play, man, it's a different cat from playing center to playing guard, from playing guard to playing tackle. I mean, and when you know them all, man, you are a complete lineman. I tell you that, and that's what you became for sure. And it all started somewhere, JB. It started at South Park High School in Magnolia, Mississippi, where you became the Pike County Player of the Year, man. Talk about those high school days.
Oh my God, the hate was so real, Sam. The hate was so real. For a lineman to become the Pike County
That's
Player
what, man.
of the Year.
He was a lineman, the Player of the Year. That's a good
bro. So I played both ways defense. Like my last year, you know, so I played defensive end, defensive tackle, if you will. They put me a linebacker every once in a while, just to mess around. My second cousin was defensive coordinator, right? His name is Willie J. McCray, right? And we used to run a 31 spy defense, right? So he was one that taught me technique defensively, right? He taught me how to use my hands, he taught me how to use leverage, use offensive line as level board. And then offensive line wise, in high school, I just had better feet than everybody. I was big, fast, physical, and I had better feet than everybody, right? So it's damn near impossible to get around me, right? I had very little trouble blocking anybody in high school, and I ain't like patting myself on the back, but it just was what it was, right? I, again, got to that point from the work that I did. I stayed in the weight room, right? I came early, stayed late. It meant the world to me, right? It meant the world to me to win. And then, of course, South Park High School has a big time lineage, you know what I'm saying, a huge history of being one of the best high schools in Mississippi, you know what I'm saying, always competitive. You're going to know that you play South Pike anytime you came to Magnolia, anytime we were around. So that in itself, and, not to pat myself on the back, but I had an unreal senior year as far as, like, I probably started defense or played defense my last 6-7 games. I might have had 9 sacks on the season, like 5 or 6 tackles for loss. I think I definitely broke one kid's neck. I ain't bragging.
No, just
bragging, but I sacked this guy. Like literally, I sacked this dude. I'll never forget, I sacked this dude. I think we were playing. I want to say we were playing either Tylertown or Port Gibson. I think we were playing at home, and like Port Gibson was like a 3A school. They just kind of was dabbling in 4A, and I playing inside, and I never forget this. Like yesterday, I gave this kid an inside move, blew by him like he wasn't even there. The quarterback was looking off a receiver before he turned around. Good, that Rodell was right there. Wow, laid him out. I hit him so hard, Shant, that I kept running. I didn't even fall. And I was like, ran like it was like they were driving to score. I ran to like the 50-yard line, clowning, acting a fool. I turned around, he ain't got up. So of course at that time I took my helmet off, took a knee, you know what I'm saying? But we never aimed to hurt nobody. But yeah, I was laying the wood, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, believe it, man. Stories like that, man. You could have been a part of the nasty bunch as much as offensive lineman. And I mean, think about it.
I did get recruited a lot to play defense in college. I did.
Think about it, man. But hey, man, just it's such a good career. One thing I get a kick out of Mississippi sports and all-star players like you, all-American type players, is being in Louisiana. We just had the Louisiana State All-Star game, but over there's the Mississippi Alabama All-Star game, and I learned that's a big deal. I mean, guys on the team when I played talked about that as much as games we were playing. Man, you were in the Mississippi Alabama All-Star game. Man, how big a deal was that for you? Because I learned pretty fast it's a big deal.
I was just blessed to be in that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know what I'm saying? Just getting the accolade I got being Pike County Player of the Year, I was destined to be there. But I met some of the coolest cats, you know what I'm saying? And that, I mean, just being in that All-Star game just made me understand that I belong. I'm the type of cat, I'm modest. You know what I'm saying? I'm modest. Like, I knew I was a good player, but I'm never going to pat myself on the back and be like, you the best, you the guy. You know, no, I'm not that dude. Like, I keep a workman's mentality. You know what I'm saying? I get that from my pops and my moms and, you know, my grandfather, and just the upbringing in Mississippi. I keep a workman's mentality. Like, head down working. That's one of my mottos. I'm never going to be that guy to be like, I'm all that. I'm the shit. Like, I'm just that guy. Nah, I'm going to work, and I'm going to show you what it is. So to play in the Mississippi Alabama game was crazy. Again, playing offense, playing defense, both sides. It was a blessing. It was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was a big deal, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I love your humbleness, but you were the shit. Let's call it what it was, JD. and you had chances to go to colleges, and you choose Southern Miss. Why Southern Miss?
My dad, man. Rest in peace, my pops, Lee Bridges, man. It was just me and him. Like, my mom passed when I was 11 years old, so pops raised me. My brother went out to college. He went to Alcorn State University, so he was gone. So it was just me and my dad. And, like, of course, I got recruited by a lot of different schools. Every school in Mississippi, a couple schools down in Florida State, brought me down for unofficial visit. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, I played defensive end in my size, and all my ability. And, like LSU, you know what I'm saying, recruited me, of course, you know what I'm saying? So, like, all the SEC schools around there. I took a visit to Arkansas, and my last visit was to La Tech, and I had already committed to Southern Miss, but I just went out there, you know how visits are, right? So I went out I had one more to take, so I took it. So, but, like Southern Miss and Coach Bauer and Coach Buckley was recruiting me, right? And Coach Bauer told me the truth, right? Other schools was like, oh, we want you to play defense, or we want you to play offense, or we don't, and they were just kind of like, blowing smoke on my ass. Coach Bauer looked at me, he was like, look, he was like, I know you can play defense. He's like, but I need the offensive lineman. He was like, hell of offensive lineman. Coach Buckley raves about you. We watch you on tape. We love you. You come here, you play an offensive line. And he said, most likely, you're going to start your first year. And that was the truth, right? So when it was all said and done, they Southern Miss got the nod.
Yeah, and back then, man, Southern Miss, it wasn't really a downgrade to go to Southern Miss, not the SEC, man. We were the best.
And that was again, like, testament to y'all, because, y'all the OGs, everything y'all doing before like when I was watching Southern Miss play, that was the thing. Like, you could play big competition right there in my backyard, basically. I grew up an hour and 15 minutes, down in Macomb, Mississippi from Hattiesburg. So hour and 30 at the most, right? Yeah. So that's right in my backyard. And well, yeah, I mean, it just made sense. And again, it felt like home, right? And, like, seriously, not because I was close to home, because I really ever went back home, right? It felt like home because there was no need to go home because I was right there. Marshawn, I tell people all the time, and I brag and boast about Southern Miss. I was like, and I know y'all had to have fun when y'all was there. I said, but from 99 to 02, I said, it ain't nowhere else in the world you want to be besides in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, fucking with these V5 clowns, you know what I'm saying, that I went to school with. Because, man, we had that thing pumping and jumping, baby.
Man, we're going to get into some Van Hall stories. Some will probably keep on the unedited version of the show. But, man, Van Hall, I'm still shocked security never came through Van Hall. It just seemed like they never did, but they should have. They should every now and then.
Hey, so they should have, like, a rent-a-cop or something should have came through there just trying to see what was going on. Because it was
something, man.
The good old,
but man, on the field, I mean, on the field, man, what an impact you made. I mean, you started 45 consecutive games for the Golden Eagles, man. And your first start, Tulane at the Rock, man. You're a freshman. I mean, what's that like? I mean, back then the Rock was rocking.
It was rocking. No, all pun intended. The Rock was rocking, right?
Rock was rocking.
So, man, again, I think we joked about it in the production meeting before we came on. It was hot. Oh my God, it was hot. Like, and you know, this Mississippi and Louisiana, you know, we grew up. It's hot. It's humid. Like it was 100, probably like 101. Index on the field was 120. You know how they used that the thermometer on the field, right in the corner, right there, but we came out 120, and then we had not long got that damn field turf. Oh my God, it was horrible, right? So, but we beat the hell out of them. Like my second play from scrimmage, I knocked the dude unconscious, right?
So as a freshman, you're knocking people unconscious.
As a freshman, just knocking the linebacker unconscious. So we ran a little down around. I called it. I got outside and. He was outside linebacker, squared him up, popped him, flipped him on his ass, you know what I'm saying? Running back ran, you know what I'm saying? I want to say it wasn't D Nix, it was probably Kelby, because D Nix hadn't moved the running back yet. So it was either Icky or Kelby, one of the two. Ran for about 15, 20, and all I remember is like turning around and watching DQ and AD and Sid, all of them go crazy, you know what I'm saying? They running out there, you know, we high-five and so on and so forth, acting a fool, and that was like, that was my first introduction to college football. I'm like, man, this is wild as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but again, it's one of those moments you're like, yeah, this is right where I belong. So it was dope.
Yeah, yep, top 25 consistently. You're top 25 right there. And you hit on something, man. I mean, you're still a youngster coming in. You got all the tools to be successful, even though you're a freshman. But man, the front five you're going against at practice. Talk about initiation into college football. All NFL years of play with these guys. Ced Scott and Adalius Thomas on the end, DeQuincy Scott, John Nix a tackle, TJ Slaughter in the middle. That's the five you're going against at practice.
And let's not forget Delroy Stewart. Right?
Delroy Stewart,
the Scott twins. You know what I'm saying? Like they was hell on wheels.
It was just nonstop.
Kyle Trahan was the outside linebacker. Roy McGee was the other outside linebacker.
Roy.
You got safeties, Leo Barnes. You know what I'm saying? You got oh my God, I can name them. Like it was a mess. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're on scout team going against this defense, it's like literally like a bunch of fireflies running around. You don't know what's about to happen when it happens. And it was some rough days, some headache type days, man, but you couldn't run. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to, you know what I'm saying, as they say on the West Coast, like you had to loke up. Like, you know, you had to step up to the plate because one-on-ones was coming, right? And we didn't, you know, we rarely did one-on-ones against like our age group. You know what I'm saying? Like our classification. You know, that's just how they did it. Coach Butler, you know what I'm saying? Coach Farrow wanted us to go against the head dogs. Like he wanted us to get brought in the right way, and that's exactly what we did. So, you know, we got our ass kicked thoroughly. You know, scrapping, fighting. You know what I'm saying? Just showing that these young pups had a little fight in them. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get a little pit bull, you wiggle his head around, you know what I'm saying? Just they want to see if that pit bull gonna bite back. So me, Torrey Tucker, Jason Menez came along, but me and Tuck, we were the first ones to start biting. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man, I wish there was video of those fights, man. I can't even imagine that nasty bunch defense versus y'all, man. God.
we had a couple practice stoppers. Trust me when I say that.
Oh, I believe that. You got to tell me, man. And one thing, man, I mean, you're making an impact pretty fast. You know, stories right there from the Tulane game. But, man, you always remember that first big road game. I remember my first big one at Texas A&M. Your first one at number 5, Nebraska. Man, how was that playing the Big Red back when they were legit?
That's when there was the real black shirt defense. That's when they were the real Red Sea. It was unreal, big bro. I tell stories about this to this day. I was looking at like, this is college football. Like this shit looks fake, right? you come out to 70,000 people. You know, you seeing these kids across the field, and you like, and then we're Southern Miss, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't have like the top of the line this and that. Nebraska was one of the first schools to have like the top of the line weight room, and like we pull up to Nebraska, you know what I'm saying? Like we go to there the first day to kind of do the walk on the field thing, you know what I'm saying? Do our walkthrough. You got the weight room that's 100 yards long, right? On us, 60 yards long because it has a 60-yard track inside of it, field. It's got jammers, it's got everything in there. So we ain't never seen before. We're like, what the hell is that? Like top of the line, everything. And these dudes look like fitness models. You know what I'm saying? It's nuts. We have some freaks of nature, but all these dudes look like fitness models, bro. Like it was just a different world, right? But in typical Southern Miss fashion, you know what I'm saying? We just like your shirt say. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. We don't give a damn.
Ready, JB. Ready.
You gonna fall. You gonna look if you line up, you better get right. You know what I'm saying? So it took probably about, I don't know, I'll say the first quarter to get them jitters off of us. But once we did that, I want to say we lost that game, 17 to 21 or some shit like that.
It was definitely, we was in there the whole time,
And I'll raise my hand and tell you, I'm the reason why we lost, right?
Come on now, you can't.
I'm the reason why we lost. I am the reason why we lost. So this is the play that happened. I'll never forget this because this changed my life football-wise, right? It literally changed my attitude, my life football, because I was at Southern Miss with my fucking ass on my face. I was the shit, like you said. I started believing that. I started buying into it. Now, again, I put the work in, but I still didn't need to carry that shit like that. So at times, I didn't watch film like I was supposed to. Like, it was a play, and it was a situation in practice that I kept fucking up on. Kept fucking up, right? Coach Larry Kick was always a coordinator, right? So he kept fucking with me, you know what I'm saying, about this, that, and the third, that damn finger. The play happened the exact way it happened, right? This guy did this guy did that. I took the wrong guy. Jeff Kelly gave him block, sack fumble. They took it down to the I want to say 4 or something like that. I don't think they scored though. Defense held, they kicked 3. Either way it goes, like that, it was my fault, right? I took full responsibility. I apologized to the team and everything, right? And at that point, I vowed to myself that I would do everything different, the little things, right? I remember Larry Keck told me in my exit interview that season, this is exactly what he told me. This is the finger, Larry Keck. So he was like, damn it, Bridges, he sound like smoke in his office. And he's like, if you were an 8th as good as you thought you were, you'd be a bad son bitch. I was like, damn, an 8th is good? Shit, I don't know. That's minute. But it brought me to reality, right? It made me understand. I had a hell of a first year. But like what he said, you got to start doing a little shit right. He's the one that told me, and I'll never forget this, that being an offensive lineman is a trade. It's not a position. It's like being a welder, being a plumber, being an electrician. It's a trade more so than any position on the field, right? Because if you learn how to do it, and these are his exact words, he said, you learn how to do it right, he said, you can play it for a long time. And he said, you got that. He said, well, you did this to me. He said, you got to change your mindset and start to do the little things. That was the last thing I remember him saying. And I think he got fired 2 hours after that. But either way it goes, right? It's like, you know how Coach Keck was. So
coaching is a tumultuous profession. I mean, the people come and go sometimes, but he was a great coach. Love coach.
He was a great coach. You know what I'm saying? Good coach. And again, good dude. You know what I'm saying? Because he told the truth. He wasn't going to sugarcoat shit. But yeah, that game was amazing. And it just made me understand that it takes the little things to be successful on the football field.
Man, I love that in-depth stuff too. And it's hard to put a game on yourself, but I know, man, when you look in the mirror, as hard as top-level athletes do, man, you're like, I had a hand in hurting us for that game. So next week, y'all play at the Wrecking Crew, Texas A&M. I mean, This is just back when it was anyone, anywhere, anytime. You're getting molded into this badass offensive line with all these teams you're playing. And But man, wound up going to the Liberty Bowl that year, the gold standard for Southern Miss. When Conference USA, back when Conference USA was a good conference.
The real Conference USA, that's right.
And the hyphen and everything back then. But man, how was that playing in the Liberty Bowl, man, winning that and finish top 25?
So the Liberty Bowl was dope, you know what I'm saying? But before that, to win it, I'll go back to Louisville where we won.
Right? Please share the stories.
Louisville. So we used to get Papa John's pizzas after the game, right? Louisville got their stadium built by Papa John that same year. This is all building up to us, you know what I'm saying? Papa John's built that stadium, and it was crazy. And I ain't gonna lie, it was nuts. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't think that Louisville would even, have a turnout like that. Game was packed, you know what I'm saying? And they had a bunch of ball players now. They had 2 damn receivers, both of them went to the league. Carey was a safety. They had some ball players, right? But we went over there and whooped them, you know what I'm saying? And I'll never forget that, you know what I'm saying? That was surreal, because I never won a state championship in high school, right? So for me to, I just won a championship. Shit, it was woo, right? So it was crazy, right? You know what I'm saying?
And beat Louisville, man. I hated them.
Louisville. Yeah, they was. I still can't stand Louisville, you know what I'm saying? So it's like whooping them, and it was just perfect, right? It was all perfect, right? And then of course going to the Liberty Bowl. and then beating a team who, again, we didn't get, we were the underdogs, you know what I'm saying, in Colorado State.
Colorado, yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying, playing against, great players like rest in peace to the late Clark Hagan. He was a upperclassman, you know what I'm saying, an outside linebacker. And Joey Porter, I don't know if he wasn't there. I think he had left already. But, like, this is, I got some ball players, you know what I'm saying? They were a tough squad. And again, we did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we pulled it out and got that win. And, the winning of the Liberty Bowl, of course, like you said, was a gold standard. Conference USA, bragging rights, we had that, right? We had all of that. So, that was a phenomenal feeling.
Yes, indeed, man. And what an impact you made there your first year. And then get in the next year, we just talked about this show, the names anyone, anywhere, anytime. I don't think people understand the schedules we used to play unless you really lived that time. Man, so your sophomore year, your first 3 games, it's at number 13, Tennessee, at number 15, Alabama, and then at Oklahoma State. That's right, 3 road games. That's who you got. Yeah. And y'all finished 2-1. Man, if you don't mind, you can fill in some blanks if you want, but talk about that Alabama win, 21-0.
21-0. That was crazy. Like we could have beat the hell out of them, but we just couldn't get going offensively, right? So and it was just still, number 15 Alabama, so they had ball players, so on and so forth. So we just couldn't get going offensively. And the defense, again, we scored all 3 phases. So we scored offense, scored defense, scored special teams. And hey, you talk about a complete ball game, right? Point blank period. You hear my dog barking in the background. I guess somebody's trying to, whatever. Get to
that adds to the aura, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Amazon probably dropped something off his door. So, but either way it goes, it's like that night was nuts. When we go back to that Tennessee game, right? Here we go again, right? This shit cannot be real. 110,000 people in a bowl. A bowl. That's what Tennessee Stadium is built like, a bowl. And it's that old school aluminum steel. So it vibrates when it gets loud, right? This is what it looks like, when it gets loud. You can't hear nothing. You can't see nothing, right? I just remember one of the craziest parts of the game. We got backed up, right? I want to say either Ray Walls or one of them guys muffed a kickoff and had to kind of like fall on it. We got backed up on like the 8-yard line. Now, mind you, I think they only beat us like, I want to say the score was like 18-13, shit like that.
Yeah, I think it was 19-16, but y'all were driving to win. Last drive of the game, y'all driving to win.
And that was the drive, right? We started on like the 10, our -10. You couldn't hear shit. Like nothing. And let's talk about the defense, man. Haynesworth, Stroud, Overstreet, right? They had Stallworth on offense. You know what I'm saying? Who was the quarterback then?
I don't know, but they were so loaded back then.
They were stacked. Man. You know what I'm saying? They were stacked, right? I want to say Al Wilson. Was Al at middle linebacker?
Oh, the linebacker. I think so. Al Wilson.
Yeah, I think Al Wilson was middle linebacker. Like just stacked. Yeah. And again, we went in there, and again, like hey, once we get between the lines, you're going to have to hold up. And at that point, you know what I'm saying? Like our offensive line was beefy. You know what I'm saying? Tuck was starting. I was starting. Badass Billy Clay was the center. My guard was kind of interchangeable. We was kind of going back and forth. My shoulder played guard a little bit. Keys played guard a little bit. And me and Tuck were bookends at the time, right? So Tuck was playing tackle. He was playing strong. I was playing quick tackle. And we were starting to develop that's again, like you said, that's when the offensive line that we call the best offensive line in Southern Miss history started to form, right? And we wasn't finna be pushed around. We just wasn't. Like, with nobody gonna intimidate us. And that's just from us, from y'all to us. Like, that's just how we were. People didn't get it. Like, wasn't nobody finna fuck with us like that, right? And we showed it. And then coming back to Alabama, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of cats at Alabama, like, those in Mobile, like, y'all have played in Tuscaloosa, like, whatever, right? A win's a win, right? So to beat that ass 21-0.
Wait, no, that one was in Tuscaloosa.
No, we beat it in Birmingham. Right?
In Birmingham, forgive me, in Birmingham. Yeah, we beat Birmingham. Yep.
I said Mobile. We beat him in Birmingham, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I don't give a damn where you at, right? It was still about 70 plus in the stands, and they got that ass whooped. So, hey, on to the next. Right, just like
that. God, it was a fun night, man. I still remember that one. And then
yes, it was.
Go to Oklahoma State, beat Oklahoma State. But man, a schedule like that, all these 3 road games, 2-1, top 25, because that's just what we did back then. That's what you did. I mean, it was just expected.
that was the standard. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like I said, except from y'all, like you know what I'm saying, and the guys before y'all, like that's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't expect anything different. We felt slighted if we weren't, we weren't like that.
Yep, finishing the top 25. And man, one of the coolest games ever, the GMAC Bowl that year against number 13 TCU, LT on the other side, the running backs got all the hype.
Everybody
I mean,
there.
half of Hattiesburg's in Mobile.
Yes,
How was
sir.
that whole event and winning that game, man?
It was dope, man. Like, so that game for me was like, that was a pretty big coming of age moment for me. Again, and there was just another chance to showcase who I was. I was going against Aaron Schobel, who Aaron played in the NFL for shit. I want to say at least 9 years. Went to Pro Bowl a couple times. He played Buffalo most of his career. And he was, he was that guy. Again, I'm a young buck, you know what I'm saying? He's my old head, you know what I'm saying, been tearing ass. And I literally shut Aaron Schobel down, right? Like he didn't smell Jeff Kelly's jockstrap, right? Like, and it was just again, that's a testament to Coach Sonakis. It was just talking about attacking him, and we mixed it up. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a boxing match. You know what I'm saying? We attacked. You know what I'm saying? We played defense. You know what I'm saying? We did everything. You know what I'm saying? Metaphorically speaking, to keep him confused, right? But when it's all said and done, you already know in Shannon football, you got to whoop a man, right? So my mind was made up. I wasn't losing this clown. You know what I'm saying? It was a battle, right? We did it all game. And when it was all said and done, he might have got 2 pressures out of the whole ordeal. No sacks, right? So there's another instance where I'm like, damn, like I'm up there. Like I know this ain't no game. You know what I'm saying? Like all the work I'm putting in is showing it's showing itself. So yeah, that was a good one. And then of course it was cold. You know what I'm saying? And then the catch at the end with Kenneth Johnson, like you know what I'm saying, like just that play. You know what I'm saying, to win the game, like nuts, pandemonium, crazy. It was the craziest thing ever. Like that might have been one of the greatest catches I've seen. And like I always talk about one hand, and yeah, we talk about focus, like the route he ran, like everything. And then for Jeff Kelly to lay it in there, just like he walked up to him and just did that, dropping his hands. It was beautiful, right? So GMAC Bowl, man, that was just another one of them great moments.
Yeah, man. And that's, there weren't as many bowls back then, man. Winning a bowl game was a big, big deal. And that was a fun night. I mean, that's one they still talk about to this day. But man, speaking of behind the scenes, we talked about it earlier, Van Hall, man. I mean, just if I missed one thing about the playing days, the games were great and everything, but man, living in Van Hall with the guys, I miss the guys. I just do.
Yeah, that's it.
So how was Van Hall for you personally, man? Because for me, it was a special fraternity I can't explain.
Oh yeah. In one word, wild. Right?
Wild too.
Van Hall.
Damn wild.
Like, yeah, that's the real Van Wilder. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I remember one of the stories I'm gonna tell you, like, and this was like TJ was still there. So this was like my sophomore year. Whenever Hurricane George came through, right? They made everybody leave. It was the summer, you know what I'm saying? So, in the summer, they got the students, you know what I'm saying? They got the athletes. All the athletes got to stay for summer school. If I'm not mistaken, it was Hurricane George that came through. It had to be, right? So this was, I want to say, 01, right? Hurricane Georgia came through either like 99, like 01, like 01. And we literally had a 4-day party in Van Hall, right? TJ had the big speakers, you know what I'm saying, like the strobe lights and all this crap. Bro, it was bad, right? I'm going to leave it at that, right? Football guys, basketball guys, volleyball girls, track girls, softball girls. Like, everybody was in and out of Van Hall while this storm was going on. We got music bumping, it's beer runs, liquor runs. It was horrible, Marchand. It was so bad. But it was
it's just Van Hall, man. There were no camera phones or anything,
right.
Thank goodness.
Right. And then, oh my God. Like, listen, I'll tell these kids nowadays, all the time, shit, like, some of the things we did, and I ain't talking about like nothing supposed to get locked up.
No, yeah, nothing like that.
But just the wild shit that it was like Freaknik. I'm just being honest. Like Van Hall was like, you walk in the doors, it was like Freaknik, all 3 floors. It was just bad. We were wild boys, young men, acting up, having success in school, handling our business nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? Because we all graduated, we all had good grades, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. But we enjoyed our college year. Yes,
Man,
sir.
some of my favorite times where everybody's getting ready to go out on a Saturday night, a Friday night. We didn't have football, something going on, and everybody's getting ready to go out.
Oh
You
yeah.
just going to different door. What you doing
Oh
tonight?
yeah.
What's going on? What y'all
Oh
doing?
yeah. Oh
Just that
yeah.
kind of stuff. I miss
Oh
all of it.
yeah. Going to get shots from guys, you know what I'm saying? You always knew who had the liquor, right?
Yeah.
You always knew who had the music bumping. Like they'll rather have big ass speakers out in the hall. Because the second floor is where it was at. So, you know what I'm saying? The third, everybody on the first floor, second floor, first floor, third floor, everybody came to the second floor because that's where it was going down there, right? So I stayed in the room. Me and Leroy Handy, God rest his soul, stayed right there by the second exit, right? Like the back door exit, right? So right when you came up, our room was right there. So our room was always jumping, right? Everybody came to me in law room. So because we had the drink, we always had the beer pumping, we had the Crown Royal pumping, right? Once you pass the laundry room, Delroy's room was right there. So that's where the music was at. Everything pumping out of there, right? It's arguments, you know what I'm saying? Everybody out iron clothes, you know what I'm saying? We out there, we jigging it up, getting ready for the club. It was like that, man. So Van Hall, whew, old Van
Yeah.
Hall, man.
I remember ironing clothes, looking good for the ladies, man. Yes,
Off top,
sir.
yeah, got
Absolutely.
to.
That was the shit, man. You had to look good. But hey, man, getting back on the football field, getting into your senior year, you're one of the top offensive linemen in America, man. You taking people from point A to point B against their will like nobody's business. And there's a game your senior year against Illinois. And, one of the best running backs in the history of Southern Miss football is Derek Nix. And he had a monster game. Obviously, you guys creating holes for him, but, he has a monster game. Do you remember that game in particular, the Illinois game at the Rock?
Oh yeah, it was nasty, muddy, raining.
Yeah, it was raining. Yeah,
it was disgusting, right? But Derek had came back from that little kidney thing he had going on, right? So I think I want to say he missed half his junior year, and then like beginning of his senior year, our senior year. But I'll never forget that night. Like a couple nights we played, like I want to say our senior night, like Coach, we had Coach Anakis and what was them damn crazy ass coach's name? The one coach was their brothers. So it's like Paul and the other one, the one was the Louisville coach that got jammed up, for the motorcycle accident. What was their last name? But we had the younger brother, right? And they were just crazy, he was fireball. But one night, I want to say it was before that game, we were, we watched some video or something, like just of all of us that senior year. Like they had like a special tribute to D Nixon, and we were all in tears, or whatever. And we just came out and just exploded, right? Literally, like we didn't give a damn who we was playing. Like whoever we was playing that game was gonna get it, right? And for him to run, I remember he threw up after his first touchdown, right? He was, he literally ran for probably about 35 yards. We trying to celebrate with him. Early, like he was going through it. He on medication, like he was all jacked up. One of the hardest working men ever, and when testament to D Nixon didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do nothing, right? So he was, pure in that aspect. And, we fought for each other. That's just how we work, right? We fought for each other. We got out for each other all day, every day, on and off the field, which got us in a lot of trouble sometimes. But we just did. And that was one of those games that was a testament to us, and that 03 class. And, we, like I said, we got out for each other. And in that game in particular, that's when and like I said, if we continue to call ourselves the best O-line in Southern Miss history. When Jerry Parkett was a young buck, him and as the tackle, Chuck was at guard, I was at the other tackle, and then Jim Hicks was the baby, was the runt in the middle, right? Because we were all gigantic. But I mean, it's like we just went out and did what we did. We mauled people when we were allowed to, right? And they did a great job of calling plays for us. And we just went out and just bulldozed people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, great story with Derek Nix right there, baby bull, man. I mean, there's a reason why his name is up at the Rock, man. I mean, that guy put his heart and soul and his body on the line for Southern Miss football. Yeah. And I'm sure that inspired you guys to block a little bit harder, at times. So, but man, you get into your senior year, wrap it up with a bowl game, man, against Houston, Oklahoma State, because that's just what we did. We went to bowls every year just about. And how was that, though, man? I mean, Southern Miss, it's in your soul the way you talk about it, man, still to this day. But that's your last game in Houston, playing Oklahoma State in the bowl game. Was it bittersweet? What was it like, man? Just walk me through that last game.
That's exactly what it was, man. We knew that it was the end of an era. It was all coming to an end. And But we kind of felt good though, you know what I'm saying, knowing that we raised the younger generation in the ways that we are supposed to. We ended up not winning the game, but you know, we played well and we all knew, you know what I'm saying, like as far as the guys, you know what I'm saying, that were getting ready to have an opportunity to do the next level thing and it was good, you know. So we had a lot of fun in Houston that week. We did. Had a lot of fun in Houston, and in typical D5 form, we saw some real wild shit.
Yeah, you can find some real wild shit in Houston. I know that.
Oh my God, from our very own though, you know what I'm saying? Like guys on our school, we saw some wild shit. We was like, man, this is OC, it's out of control out here. But no, it was dope, man. You know what I'm saying? It was cool playing in Reliance Stadium. You know what I'm saying? But it was for us, it was like that's kind of how we saw, like I said, the guys that had a chance to play at the next level, that knew we had a chance to play at the next level. It was like, man, like next year, this is what it's gonna be about right here. You know what I'm saying? Playing in stadiums like this.
Yeah, and you know you're about to play on the next level, man. And real quick, man, you were so good. You got to go to the Senior Bowl, and what's it like going to the Senior Bowl and just all this talent you see around college football, the biggest names, biggest stars, converging on Mobile, Alabama, man. You being a part of that. How was that Senior Bowl week?
And Senior Bowl week was cool. I was always I got disrespected so much, you know what I'm saying, as a player. Like Bus Cook, you know what I'm saying, was my agent in town. He had to basically get me into the Senior Bowl, right? I got accepted to the East West, but me being one of the top offensive linemen in the nation, there was no reason why I should have been in the Senior Bowl. But for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, I think it had a lot to do with, you know what I'm saying, what happened my senior year. They didn't want to let me in the Senior Bowl. So, of course, I went out there with a chip on my shoulder. And Mel Kiper Jr., you know what I'm saying, you leather wig and suede sideburn, having ass punk. I talk shit about Mel Kiper Jr. better than anybody. I can't stand him. And I'm glad I made you eat your goddamn words. Mel Kiper Jr. said I had no business being at the Senior Bowl. That first, when the week first started, his exact words, over his head, he has no business being down here. He's going to struggle. He's going to suffer.
A 10-year NFL career, career.
All right,
no business being there.
When it's all said and done, Sam, when it was all said and done, he had to turn the thing around and say Jeremy Bridges was one of the best offensive linemen there. He sustained his blocks. He showed a mean streak. He played with technique. He played with poise. He had a great game in the Senior Bowl, actual game, and had a great week of practice. He had to eat his words, right?
I might see why you don't mince words with Mel Kiper, man, because, I mean, everybody knows how damn good you are.
So it's true, Mel Kiper, you know what I'm saying? But it's funny to me. It made me laugh. But just, again, being down there with all that talent, you know, you see what the next level is going to be like. But also, again, it's another one of those moments where it's like, okay, I know at this point, after dealing with these cats, because this is quote unquote the best, what I'm capable of on the next level. So it was good to be there. I was blessed to be there, and I showed and proved. That was the thing. Like I said, I felt disrespected. So everybody had to feel me, and they did.
I believe that, man. You got to sell me on it. You got to sell Southern Miss people on. I believe that, man. And you know, NFL comes around. I mean, you go to the 6th round of Philadelphia. You know, a steal the 6th round, but you go to the 6th round of Philly, and your career really kickstarts the next year in Arizona. Right. But man, how did that make you feel, man? Landing in the NFL.
It was I won't say it's a dream come true. I worked my way to the point where I knew I was going to be there, and once I got there, you know what I'm saying. Like work wise, I was doing my thing, unmatched. You know what I'm saying. I wasn't a professional yet though. Right, I wasn't a professional. I was still a wild boy, doing wild shit. You know what I'm saying? As everybody knows the story, I got released my 2nd year from Philly because I was wilding. I was just wild. Like Andy Reid told me to my face, you know what I'm saying, once they cut me that day, he said, "You're gonna be a great player in the NFL." He said, "Just not in Philadelphia." Right. But I mean, before that, like I got clippings and stuff like that of, you know, they talking about, you know what I'm saying, like me being, you know, one of the next great Philly offensive linemen and yada, yada, yada. And of course, I got drafted with Jerome McDougal and, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, what I'm whooping his ass all, you know, I whooped his ass the whole Senior Bowl, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, we get drafted and I whoop his ass some more. So, but it was just, again, I had a chip on my shoulder. Like I was a predicted high draft pick, like, you know what I'm saying, as far as tackles go, right? I was a hybrid, you know, and a lot of people were, you know what I'm saying, kind of skeptical about my size, strength, and all this other stuff, but like we had teams that were super interested, you know what I'm saying, like taking me because of that aspect. They had the vision. They saw what the NFL was turning to, right, with the smaller 3-4, with the hybrid defensive end, outside linebacker types. And as I played and continued to play, like bigger tackles started to fade away because they couldn't handle those guys, and it was tailor-made for me to do it. So, and then we think about Coach Lanakis again, right? Shout out to him because he was one of the guys that made sure I was prepared for the NFL because I could play anything. I played guard most of my Arizona career, first time around in 04 and 05. Went to Carolina, played guard. Played right tackle my first year, played guard most of my second and third year there. Came back to Arizona, predominantly played tackle. Matter of fact, I played tackle for the rest of my career. And it was like I went back to left tackle, which I hadn't played until I got back to Arizona, right? My second term around. So it was, like I said, testament to preparation, right? We all know Coach Underwood used to say it all the time, proper preparation for performance. He said stuff like that, right?
B.W. Underwood, oh yeah.
Like that, right? So say this. But he, and that always stuck in my head, you know what I'm saying? So getting there wasn't enough. I always joke with people about the NFL. They're always looking for younger, cheaper talent. They have a draft every year for a reason, right? So getting there is one thing, staying there is another. So I was blessed to stay there. I can chalk that up to my upbringing, if you will, in football, all the way from South Pike High School, right? Because all I knew was work. That's it. All I knew was work. Never had a silver spoon in my mouth at any point in my football career, and all I knew was work. So all those things kept me alive and kept me rolling.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it didn't work out in Philly, but man, you're so talented. Teams want you. So the next year, Arizona Cardinals come calling pretty fast, man. You wind up going to Phoenix, Arizona. And one thing that I read about you, hit on you on searching things about these stories, is that the head coach there, Dennis Green, man, he really made an impact on you in your football career and kind of your next steps on becoming the football player you are, man. What kind of impact did Coach Green make on you?
He was just a man's man. You know what I'm saying? Coach Green was that type of guy, you know what I'm saying? He'll put you to the side and shoot the shit with you. And he took me fishing a couple times, bro. I was so green in Arizona, I didn't even know Arizona had water. I was like, it's desert, ain't no water out here. But he took me fishing a couple times. But he was just a man's man, and he was one of the guys that made me again. He gave me the opportunity to play, right? You know what I'm saying? So I started in San Francisco in 04, my first start ever, and had a great game. And I played against Bryant Young, which had me kind of shook. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like playing against BY. You know what I'm saying? My first starting game, but Bryant Young, and I was joking with him on Twitter about this the other day. I was like, once the game was over, he found me. This is Bryant Young, Hall of Famer. He found me. He was like, put me to the side and was like, he was like, man, you're gonna be a good one. He was like, he said, I ain't never played against a young cat that was tough as you. You know what I'm saying? Like his balance is yours, his strength is you had. Like, and he was like, man, you're gonna be a good one, right? So to hear that man tell you that, and then of course I had to play against the great Leroy Glover, you know what I'm saying? The dress belt himself. And then the same thing, you know what I'm saying? For him to, just be like, commend you after the game, be like, man, I had my plate full the whole game. And again, that's just another one of those things that just made you understand and made me know that I was meant to be in the NFL.
Heck yeah, man. What are some of the biggest difference from a lineman's perspective from college to the NFL, the players that you go against?
Everybody good.
I guess it's that simple.
You know how it is in college, so you just gonna go against the limit sometimes. Like, some days you ain't gotta work hard on the football field in college. You know what I'm saying? But in the NFL, anybody can get you, right? Because they all there for a reason, right? They've all earned the right to be there. And very few people, it's a very small percentage of guys in the NFL that are there because of somebody they know, right? There's talent there. There's want to there. I always joke about these are grown men that feed their families, by playing a little boy's game. So everybody good. And at any given time, you can get got.
Yeah. And Arizona Cardinals really where it kickstarted your career. You're there for 3 years and then wound up going to the Carolina Panthers, man. And one cool thing, looking at your career, when you're with Carolina, you had your first playoff start. And I saw some quotes on you, man. That's a different cat when you're starting an NFL playoff game. And what was that vibe like playing in a playoff game with Carolina?
We first of all, we were a good ass team that year, and that same year that Arizona went to the Super Bowl because they beat us. But we were just a good ball club. We were brutal. Like, just Coach Fox was one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Run first. He was a run first coach. We used to do run drills. We had 3 run periods in practice. 3. Right? Inside run, first and second down, and then we had crosswork. We used to do crosswork, Shan. We're grown ass men. We used to do crosswork, bro. Like, and again, I was at guard at the time, so I'm going against Chris Jenkins, 400 pounds. Make Kimoyotu, 400 pounds. And I'm the starter, and they the starter. Like, I'm only about 325 at the most. Headache every time, right? But again, it made us who we were. We were just a brutal ass football team. We should have beat the shit out of Arizona, to be honest. They just really we got out coached, but brutal. That was our MO. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was gonna get your ass whooped playing us. And we had two little bruising running backs, and Jonathan and D'Angelo, these two little short, squatty bastards, you know what I'm saying? Both of them could squat 10,000 pounds. And, you know, it was just nuts, right? But that atmosphere, you know, Carolina has a notion crowd-wise of not being very wild, right? They're very mild. You know, they don't get very loud. That night was the first part of that game was nuts, right? We drove down that first drive like they weren't even on the field. It was like literally like shit, like pat and go, right? 5-yard run, 8-yard run, 13-yard run, 10-yard run, 6-yard pass, 14-yard run, touchdown, 6-yard run. Like, and the next thing you know, we were down 13-10. Like, what happened? Like, so, but great times. It was the atmosphere was nuts. Playoff football is a different type of football, and that's that. So, and then of course coming back to when I left there, coming to Arizona, and I know you about to get to it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and actually, real quick, can I cut in on something right
yeah,
here, man? Just some kind of fun talk. So, man, we all got our pregame hype songs that we listen to with our headphones on and things like that. And man, I love this song, JB. I saw an interview with you where a song that would get you most hype was "My Boo" by Quad City DJs. Man, why that song just
that's
get it out of you, man?
it just make me groove, man. You know what I'm saying? It just make you groove. It gets you grooving, and I ain't never been one to say they have to get mad to play football, right? I'd much rather be in a loose mood, you know what I'm saying? Like, if, you know, like, and I go out and play good. Like, now, there were games where I was pissed off, right? But for the most part, man, I'm dipping and bopping. I listen to R&B before the games. I'm out there warming up. I'm listening to R&B. Like, I want to feel good, right? I want to be in a relaxed, calm state of mind. Like, I don't want to play the game and get so riled up that I'm exhausted when the game starts. Like, because that happens, right? People mentally play the game before the game even gets going. So, yeah, my boo kept me loose, right? I'm on the field dancing, right? You know what I'm saying? Doing my thing. So, yeah, that was my jam, man.
Yeah, man.
Still
One
is
thing
to
I
this
love
day.
about you. Wait, what's that?
Still is to this day.
Oh, yeah, man, let it come on right now. I'm
Oh,
gonna hit pause on this interview stuff. Let it come on right now.
We grooving, baby.
I love that jam. That's why I had to ask you that, man. I love that jam. But hey, man, but speaking of which, you're in the mood and things like that on the field. But one thing you were good at is talking smack. Man, JB, you talk the best smack I've ever seen. Do you have any kind of stories about smack talk, or maybe one or two where you got in somebody's head and you know you did?
Yeah,
Give me one.
The great Jared Allen.
No, mean ass Jared Allen.
Yeah,
wow.
so I played against Jared when I first got back to Arizona from Carolina. I got picked up on waivers. Carolina released me, and I got picked up on waivers by Arizona right after camp. So I was the third tackle. So of course, you know what I'm saying, if somebody went down right or left, if Levi or if Gandy went down, either way, I was gonna fill in. Gandy had this sports hernia thing going on. He played with us for about 5 games, and now all of a sudden, Minnesota's on the way. Well, that year Jared Allen was tearing ass. I'm talking about killing people, right? Literally, this cat had, I want to say he finished the year with like 18 and a half sacks, something like damn near broke the record. But so I'm gonna give you the whole lead up because the story is hilarious, right? They come to me, Gandy goes down. I forget the GM's name at the time, but Wiz comes to me. You know, they talk, Russ, you up this week, left tackle. You know, Gandy's going down with the sports hernia. So Wiz is like, you know, we're gonna make sure you're cool, you're covered, you know what I'm saying? We got a little tight end help, you know what I'm saying? Yada yada yada. So I ain't saying that. I'm like, all right, cool, I got this, you know what I'm saying? Tuesday is off day. I'm in the weight room like always, you know what I'm saying? Get a little treatment done, some stretches, so on and so forth. But this is one of my older players, you know what I'm saying? So I guess a lot of maintenance being done. So Wednesday comes, stress line. So we already had the meeting. Of course, we got offensive install, we got all this stuff going on, and they, you know, they're talking. The office coordinator is talking about, oh, we got this and this, that, and And then, of course, Bridge, debut, we got you covered on this play, got you covered on that play. I'm like, all right, cool. Now tackles get body help. That just happens, right? Especially on the left side. So eventually I got tired of it. In my mind, I'm like, hey, man, like, I don't know who the fuck y'all think I am, but we're going to be all right. So Stress Lounge, Wiz comes up to me, he's talking to me, saying, hey, we got faith in you, saying, yada, yada, yada. I said, Wiz, chill out, man. I said, I'm about to whoop this white boy ass. Wiz, he looked at me like, and we all had this, we were a very loose team. That's one thing I loved about that team the whole duration of the time I played at Arizona my last few years. We were a very loose team. The coaching staff was cool and shit. Like, so we joked around about a lot of things. So I knew I could say this to Wiz, you know what I'm saying? When I said it to him, he was gonna like, okay. Well, okay. So had a great day of practice. One-on-ones went well. Joey Porter's there again, Clark Hagan, they throwing everybody at me, trying to, get me right. All right, I appreciate it. Thursday comes. Same thing, stress now, right? Thursday's a big time third down day, right? All right, JP, we got this. He comes over with the little playbook. Guys, Wiz, I'm about to whoop this white boy ass, right? So I'm telling him, like, I'm about to whoop this white boy ass, man. Calm down, I got this, right? Had a great day, another great day of practice. You know what I'm saying? Again, one-on-one, kicking ass, you know what I'm saying? Getting my technique right. I'm getting my footing right. I haven't played left tackle to date at this point. I've only played left guard. But again, like we said earlier, guard tackle's different. Friday, stress line again, all right? Wiz shakes everybody's hand on Friday, you know what I'm saying? Shoot the shit with everybody. It's a very loose day. He comes over to me, shakes my hand, he looks at me, he's like, I know you about to whoop this white boy ass. I said, I'm glad you know that.
You finally got it in this head.
I'm glad you know that. Right? So come Sunday, I was nervous, right? And I hadn't been nervous for a football game in a long time because I knew it was a Sunday night game. And all eyes on me, right? So it wasn't pretty because I hadn't got my technique back down yet. My sets weren't all beautiful and pretty like they were, you know what I'm saying, when I was young buck in 7 minutes, you know what I'm saying, just dancing out there. It was ugly, right? So, of course, Jared, he runs his mouth like no other. Like, hey, who is this guy? Actually, talking to Reggie Wells, who's my left guard. Hey, Wells, who is this guy right here? You guys got anybody off the street to play against me? I'm about to have a great game. All right, cool. I ain't saying shit. I'm not talking. So, okay, couple plays going on. What's wrong? You can't talk? You scared to talk to me? I ain't saying shit to him. So, he said something to me that was basically disrespecting my last name. And you don't do that, right? So that kind of woke me up at that point. And like I ran up on him, you know what I'm saying? Like, because after the play was over, he turned around and I was right there in his face. And I said, dog, before this game over, you gonna know my fucking last name. Know that, right? He woke up a sleeping giant. I was more focused on just trying to stay right and make sure that, you know what I'm saying, my technique was right. And I was honed in on everything. At this point, fuck it, all bets are off, right? So we finna fight. We finna take it to where I know how to take it, right? So it turned into a street fight at that point, right? After every play, I'm roughing him up, I'm pushing him in the back, like, you know what I'm saying? So he said something at one point, and I have a picture, I have to find it, of me pointing, like we're talking and I'm pointing to the red zone, which is where we all load up at and we leave. I told him, I said, we could take this shit off, bitch. I'll whoop your ass in the parking lot, right? And at that point, he knew shit wasn't sweet at all, right? So I whooped his ass the whole fucking game to the point where the fourth quarter came around and I was playing against Greenway. I wasn't playing against Jared no more. Jared was on the left side again, going against Levi, trying to get some action. Got him out of there, right? So at the end of the game, again, it's Sunday night football. So I'm getting interviewed and yada, yada, yada. And I never forget, Lonnie Shelton was doing media at the time. And I hear somebody, Fred, he threw his hands up. He's way up in the booth, you know. I'm like, man, that's crazy. So get in the locker room. And I get a game ball, of course. And of course, Wiz, there you go. He's like, and of course, the game ball goes to JB for whooping that white boy's ass. Like, so,
it was all the build up of the week.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I got the game ball for that game.
But it's the way they said it. Whooping his ass.
Yeah, for whooping that white boy's ass. You know what I'm saying? But it was, that he like, because I don't play the game mad. I don't play the game upset, right? I just, I play the game having fun and then shit talking just part of it. But like, he pissed me off. Like, you don't disrespect my last name. So at that point, I was ready to fight. Like I told him, we can go in the parking lot. I'll whoop your ass out there. No problem. But
Yes, you will. Anybody that knows you, yes, you will.
yeah,
But man, what an NFL story right there. You and Jared Allen going toe to toe, man. That's
that's my
testosterone
guy.
right
I
there,
love him. I
man.
love him to death. That's my guy.
Man. Well, at Arizona too, man, y'all had a good run in the playoffs. Y'all had a win against Green Bay, man, 51-45 in overtime. I mean, what a wild game, which set up this game against the New Orleans Saints in '09. That year, the Saints were having a magical season.
Yep.
Man, that's a game still a lot of people talk about because, the Saints were kind of dealing with that, not Watergate, Defense Gate, whatever they call it, bounty hunters and stuff like that, man.
Bounty Gate, right? Yeah.
Bounty Gate. You were in that game, a playoff game with the Saints. Man, how was that game, man? Kurt Warner got knocked out in the game. How was that game, just playing that game?
Chaotic, just to say the least. Chaotic. It was the dome, first and foremost, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you know how that go, right? You have season tickets, it's the dome, right? It's crazy, right? Playoff football, crazy, right? Second round, crazier, right? So all this stuff is adding up to what we're going, what is about to happen. I don't know. Kurt threw a pick, and all hell broke loose, right? Because we was already getting into it, you know what I'm saying? Because it was already chippy. McCray was defensive end. Will Smith, rest his soul. Like all the guys they had going on in there, it was already, chippy from jump. Like we went out and scored on their ass. A long run from Tim Hightower right behind me. You know what I'm saying? I blasted McCray's ass. Get the fuck out the way. Tim had a 7-8 yard hole to run through, right? Gone. Took off. Probably about 35, 40 yards. He didn't score. I still fuck him to this day about that. Should have scored. Bam. We're doing great things. All of a sudden, mistake here, mistake there, mistake. Next thing you know, the dome is alive. Holy shit. Right? That play alone, though, Kurt threw that pick. McCray peeled back and damn near killed Kurt on the football
field. No, it was a shot, man.
I mean, damn near killed Kurt on the football field, right?
Cool.
So, like, I didn't see it. Again, like, the guy caught the interception, right? He's running. We're trying to get him on the ground. Like, plays damn near over. I get pushed in the back. Will Smith's laughing when he turns around. I rocked his ass 3 times. Tim Hightower's on the side. I didn't notice he's on the sideline getting his ass whooped. They beating his ass on the sideline. Referee grabs me, throws me, pushes me back toward the sideline. Get 73, get your ass on the sideline. I'm on the sideline standing beside Wiz. Again, Kurt getting up off the ground. Like, I'm just taking all this shit in. And I told Wiz, I said, you put me back in the game, I'm fighting 93. I said, he needs his ass whooped, right? So he didn't know at the time. He wondered why I was standing beside him. So he walked away. He's talking to the ref. He comes back. He's like, hey, debating whether they're going to throw you out of the game or not. So he walks away again. He comes back. He's like, JB, did you hit him? I did this. He said, 3 times? So yeah. He said, you can't hit him, JB. He walks away again, comes back. He's like, they're going to let you back in the game. And I walk back. He grabbed me. He's like, JB, don't fight 93. All right, cool. I got you. But from there, we just got our ass destroyed. And I just remember Kurt after the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were talking on the plane, and he was like, I ain't never got hit like that. And he was like, right at that point, I knew that I was done with football. So I was like, I don't blame you. What do you mean?
Yeah, I was at that game, and obviously a lot of controversy came out of New Orleans Saints camp after that season with so-called bounty gate and stuff. But you witnessed that whole scene in person, man.
It was so surreal. Like that whole little 6 or 7 minutes that was going on with all that Kurt trying to be right, and they trying to decide who's gonna get kicked off the field, and it was just like a storm. Like, it was literally a storm. I didn't know what I was coming and going, right? So, and then the rest of the game was like a blur. We just played, got our ass whooped, and that was that.
Yeah, but man, what an NFL career you had. It wound up wrapping up next year with Carolina in 2013. You got that number right. I think last year was 13. But man, what an NFL career. But looking back on having that longevity in the NFL, man, just not many people get to do that on earth. I mean, how does that make you feel having that kind of run in the NFL?
Listen, man, God in the weight room. You know what I'm saying? I can attribute it to God in the weight room, man. Wasn't nobody gonna outwork me. I was always in the weight room. I was always working out in the morning, and I just, kept my faith in God and continued to just, I always showed the sport love. I always showed the sport respect. And I told my ex-wife, years, like probably a couple years after we got married, like, you know what I'm saying, about, you know, retire. We just talking about retirement one day. And I was like, man, I'll retire from this game when I stop loving it like a kid. When that boyish love for the game goes away and it becomes a job to me, I let it go. Right. So that's basically what happened the year I retired. Like I could have, you know, stole, we call it stealing. I could have stole for about 2 or 3 more years, right? But I just didn't want to. My son was a senior in high school at the time. Uh, Family just, it mattered a little bit more at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like it mattered more. And hell, I did it 10 years. Like shit, what else you want from me? Right.
Yeah, what a run, man. What a run at Southern Miss and all that stuff, man. And in life after football, man. One thing, you're big in the fitness world. Man, you got videos online, man. It makes me kind of want to start working out, doing my push-ups, man. But you're big in the fitness world right now.
Yeah.
Tell me some stuff after football that you're up to with fitness.
From the moment I retired, man, I moved out to California and I just kind of chilled for a little bit and really found my love for fitness out there. I started training a little bit. My LinkedIn, I had certification and started training a little bit out there. And then, of course, the business side found me with LA Fitness, and it was cool to be in the fitness industry. And I always joke with people like, once you have success in the fitness industry, you know, you don't want to leave the industry because it's such a, you know, it's just fun. Like it's just a fun atmosphere all day. You're in the gym all day. You know what I'm saying? So, stay with it. You know, I kind of been back and forth away from it, in and out. You know what I'm saying? I came back over here in 2018, didn't do anything for a couple of years. Made sure my son was on point, just kind of chilled. Found EOS Fitness, which I work for now, and I've been working for since June of 2020. And just recently started back coaching again, or training, as most people know it. And I've been a manager up until that point, and started just want to have a little more fun in the business. You got to get away from those numbers, and as I call it, the fog. You know what I'm saying? Of having to, you know, micromanage and deal with the higher ups and so on and so forth. Now I'm saying I go and train my clients and shit, Monday through Friday and get the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? And see what I'm doing on Friday because I ain't got to go to work tomorrow, right?
Oh, so, well deserved. I should have brought one up. I didn't know you did, but beer. I'd have brought a beer.
You know,
I feel like I'm disrespecting you without a beer. My bad.
I should have told you, you know what I'm saying? But you know how we do, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, man, that's my love. My second love is football and fitness, always has been, right? So I've trained offensive linemen, coach kids, mentor kids, and of course did the fitness thing. And I'll do it for the rest of my life, you know what I'm saying? Some kind of facet, right? So that's it for me. I got other things I'm gonna do, you know what I'm saying? And things that I know that I'll be doing for the rest of my life, you know what I'm saying, that are outside of my wheelhouse, if you will, as far as like fitness and football, right? Or sports and athletics or whatever. But my dad was a financial consultant for years, so that shit kind of burns inside of me. Just that side, and then real estate has always been a thing that I was interested in, but I ain't never liked the grunt work of real estate. So I kind of found a avenue that I can go down in real estate that I'm working at right now to be in the real estate game, but not do the real estate thing. So we're doing that right now. And then eventually I'll be a master trainer. If people are watching this, this is the 12th or 14th of July. As of the 16th, 17th, as the 17th of July, I'll be a master trainer again. So from there, I'll start back doing my online training probably in the next couple of months and getting that back going. And just again, it's all about doing things you love to do, right? Doing things you want to do, doing things you love to do. My life is good right now. My kids are healthy. Got 2 daughters in college. One son about to go to college. Let's take that back. I got one. My middle boy just went back to school. Made me happy after a hiatus, if you will. And my baby boy's gonna be a senior in high school this year. So I got one about to go into college after this year. So I got 2 girls going to their sophomore year, and old head is about to be 27 and the baby's 11. Right. So yeah, everything's beautiful, man.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for the family update too, right there, man, too. And how's your golf game? Because anybody that knows you, golf is your hobby, man.
Hey, I hate I missed the tournament this year down in Southern Miss. I will be there next year. But
anybody doesn't know, JB was supposed to be the honorary captain of the big tournament down there. So,
and I will be this year coming up. You know what I'm saying? So this April coming up,
I'm gonna hold you to that because
I will be. Hey, right here. And look, things pop up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, again, I was still in that management role, and I actually was transitioning at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of all over the place. You know, with HR and so on and so forth. So I couldn't make it down there. But yeah, we'll be there this year for sure. But golf is good, man. I try to play every Sunday. I won't get to play this Sunday coming up, you know, because we're pre-recording this again on the 14th. So I got to go do a certification course out in Glendale, Arizona this weekend. So I won't get to play this Sunday, but for the most part, I'm out there every Sunday getting it done. We handicapping Anywhere from about 12 to 16 to 18 on bad days. So we play some good golf, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get better off the tee with the big stick. That's the one thing that hinders me at this point right now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me hitting them nice 290, 300-yard drives like I know I'm capable of, you know what I'm saying? I'm losing distance because I got a nice little slice going. You know what I'm saying? Not a crazy one, just a nice little, like less than a little crescent moon, if you will, which is knocking about 30, 40 yards off my drive. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, you know, we doing all the little things right. Chipping when I'm around the green, I'm dangerous. And then my putting, I got a nice soft touch for a big man.
That's cool. Yeah, for a big man, you got a nice swing too. I've seen your videos, man. It's
Thank
nice.
you, man. Thank
and
you.
hey, real quick, man, you got a big entertainment side to you too. Let's talk about this show you've been doing for 7 years, the JB and Benny Blue Review.
That's right.
I mean, high entertainment for sports fans. And with the NFL season coming up, a lot of entertainment coming up. Yeah. Man, talk about that show and what that's meant to you.
So the JB and Benny Blue Review, man, it's great. I met Benny when I was out in North Hollywood, California. I did his podcast. From that moment on, I asked him, "Hey, can we do this together?" And he loved the idea, and we just took off from there. So I think we've done over 250 plus episodes. Like I said, 7 years. I think we just celebrated 7 years. If not, we're celebrating it or just celebrating in April. But this is football season coming up. This is what we do, right? So we kind of took a break. Benny's a comedian, so he's been over in Europe, you know what I'm saying, doing his little tour thing, you know what I'm saying, and putting together his little video, his what they call concert, if you will, you know what I'm saying, concert that he's doing. So he's over there doing his thing in Europe right now, him and his old lady. And so when he comes back in town, and we're about to get down, so between me, Benny, and our guy Mitch, who's our stat guy, you know what I'm saying, our resident stat guy, JB and Benny Review will be back in full swing. You can catch us on all major platforms. The podcast, we got YouTube. We also have our Instagram, JB and Benny Review. Check us out. And of course, like I said, we're about to get active. Football season right around the corner.
Yeah, y'all want some entertainment. Watch it at JB and Benny Blue go after. But we're talking sports and talking football, man. Lots of entertainment. But that's awesome, man. Try to get you all the updates right there going on. And man, like I said, O-line does not get enough love, people, man. These running backs get all these yards, but the holes got to be created somewhere. So I had to get one of the best to ever do it, Jeremy Bridges. So with that said, man, real quick, what's a message you might have for the Southern Miss Nation from the great Jeremy Bridges?
Pack the rock, man. Every Saturday, pack the rock. I'm a Will Hall fan. I had a chance to meet him. My daughter graduated high school down at Oak Grove. I had a chance to meet him. I went over there. He met me on a Sunday, man. Like, nobody was at the school. He kind of showed me around the locker room, all this stuff, man. Class act. And then, of course, we got to get down there for you guys, not you guys, but AD and them championship celebration. And then we were all hanging out, you know what I'm saying? But Coach Hall, you know what I'm saying? They're building something special down there. And it won't be very long before we're back to the Southern Miss of old. So keep packing the rock, man. Give those kids a reason to be proud. To the youngest down there, man, you know, so you guys got a hell of a history, you know what I'm saying, and a bunch of guys that are rooting for you. And another thing I like, you know what I'm saying, that Coach Hall he's about bringing the old heads back, you know what I'm saying, like we got to get our guys back in there, you know what I'm saying, to show love and again, you know what I'm saying, to show face so these young kids can see that this is a big family, you know what I'm saying, but it's been so much, you know, disarray going on down there for years, so we just want to make sure that we get a guy that wants to be a Southern Miss coach, and we want guys that want to be honorary V5, if you will. All right.
Yeah, there you go, honorary V5. And it just feels like we're building the culture there with Coach Hall and
coming back.
It just feels like it's coming back. It really does. So great words right there, man. So with JB, man, it's been an honor to have you on. These stories, man. I mean, I can talk to you all day. You know, you're my guy.
Yes,
so,
sir.
but I think one thing the Southern Miss fans might enjoy is me and you giving them all a big Southern Miss.
To the top, baby. Yes, sir.
All right, JB. Much love, baby.
Thank you, Sant.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with my great friend, Jeremy Bridges. Well, that's it for another edition of Anyone, Anywhere, Anytime. And all I ask of you is to do something that's absolutely free to do, and that's help spread the word of the show to get this Southern Miss word out there even more. Retweet tweets that you might like, share the show with friends, and just try and help get the word of this show out there if you're really enjoying it. Until next time, as always, it's Southern Miss to the top.